Hello guys, this is NASCAR Racing Fan 2015 back with another NASCAR review, and this one is on some big news, as last week we had some big news about the 20 car for 2018 in NASCAR. This time we have some news on the 88 car for 2018. Alex Bowman is going to be taking over the 88 car in 2018. How cool is that? As Alex Bowman, a driver that was on the worst racing team out there, BK Racing, or you could always say back racing, because the BK, if you put A and C in the middle, it's back racing, because they always run in the back. I mean, that's just a sad truth. Though he's on the worst team ever. He goes to Tommy Bowen Racing, and then he ultimately gets cut for Regan Smith, and then Dale Jr. signs him for a couple Xfinity races, and then Alex Bowman gets the shot of his lifetime, and ultimately now proved himself, as Alex Bowman was really good in his starts in the Cup Series. For a guy that hasn't really raced in the Cup Series that much, or he hadn't run at all in 2016, he did really well. I mean, he had issues like Michigan. I think he had a parts failure. I think there are like two other races, or New Hampshire, I think, where he had issues. But after that, he had a fairly good season, and he almost won the pole at Charlotte. That was he had a fast car, I think, before he crashed out to mechanical failure. He was doing, and then obviously Phoenix was probably the turning point where everyone thought Alex Bowman should be Camp for 88. He wins the pole award, and he was really fast. I mean, he was up front. He was up front most of the race. He was leading laps. He had a chance to win until Matt Kenseth cut down on Alex Bowman, and Matt Kenseth crashed. But after that, Alex Bowman, he could have won that race. Alex Bowman, I'd say Matt Kenseth got into turn one cleanly. Alex Bowman maybe could have dive bombed him or something like that, and he could have won the race, and that would have been huge. And I mean, it's just great to see Alex Bowman. I mean, he has been, like I said, he's been a very good driver. I mean, a lot of tough luck, and Hendrick is now picked. They had Chase Elliott when Jeff Gordon retired, and now they have Alex Bowman when Dale Jr. he retired out. So we have two new drivers taking over for two of the biggest drivers, because Jeff Gordon is a legend. I mean, he's the third all-time in wins with 93 wins, 4 championships, and his stats are just amazing. And Chase Elliott he's done an all right job filling in or taking over for Jeff Gordon. I mean, he made the chase last season. He's looking good to make the playoffs this season. He still needs to get that win though, but I mean, his time is coming. I'm sure in 2018, it'll probably be similar to what Kyle Larson went through. He'll have a breakout season in the next year and a half, and that'll probably be the start of maybe the dominance of the 24 car, and then now the 88. And Alex Bowman honestly has done better than Dale Jr. in the 88 so far. As Alex Bowman, like I said, he dominated races. We haven't seen Dale Jr. dominate any races or even run that good as of recent. I mean, and just think of it. When was the last time, besides a plate track, that Dale Jr. absolutely dominated a race? There aren't very many. I mean, there's a couple. 2014, he came up through the field, but he really didn't have winning speed. He was he was good at getting in position, but besides those, he never really led the most laps, dominated races, and was a major threat. I mean, Alex Bowman, meanwhile, had one race. He has one race at Phoenix where he led the most laps. That is very impressive. And I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens down the road. I mean, like with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Alex Bowman, I'm wondering to see if Alex Bowman's going to get any race like Hendrick. I know the 5th car thing's abolished, but you never know. I mean, we could see an alliance. Maybe, let's see, Ganassi could possibly run a 3rd car. Hendrick could fully back the car. And then what else? No, I think that's the only other. They lost a lot of teams in this offseason. They lost H. Scott and they lost Stuart Haas Racing. They lost 2 Chevy teams. So who knows? Chip Ganassi, they had an alliance with the car. I mean, they could easily get, Nationwide could possibly sponsor. They could get possibly Nationwide to sponsor, let's say Homestead, Junior's running the Exalted car. They could get Alex Bowman maybe to run the Nationwide car at the Homestead race, and then they could get the 25 car or something. I mean, it's a possibility, but I think what they're doing with Alex Bowman is I think they're using him on the simulator, the Chevy simulator. I think I recently was informed by this, because at first I didn't think Alex Bowman was doing anything. I thought he was just sitting at home, but it sounds like Rick Hendrick and whole team at Hendrick Motorsports has gotten him ready to take over this car. And now I'm probably going to get a bunch of. I'm sure a lot of people are saying this is probably similar to Eric Jones, and everyone's going to call me a Toyota hater or whatnot. I'm sure there's some people that would do that, so I might as well just address that now so I don't get hate in the future. I mean, let's look at these 2 situations. So we have Alex Bowman. I mean, he's a good enough driver, and then we have Dale Earnhardt Jr., well past his prime. I mean, he wasn't doing that good this year, and I mean, virtually Dale Jr. has to win a race. There's no way he's going to make it. He needs to find speed, and he needs to just get that winning edge. And Dale Jr. just doesn't have the winning edge anymore. Add in the fact that add in with that, he decides to retire on his own terms. He doesn't get kicked out, and he doesn't get the short end of the stick. Dale Jr. decides himself it's time to retire. And so that's one situation. With Eric Jones' situation, it's just Toyota full on trying to make one of their young guys a big star or whatever, and kicking out a veteran. Matt Kenseth, he is he gained a bunch of points this weekend. He's 52 points ahead of the cutoff. Probably he could be like the Jeff Gordon of 2015. He could win, he could win a race in Martinsville. I think he's done okay at Martinsville, Texas, or Phoenix or something. And he could easily make it to the championship 4. And that would be so hilarious if Matt Kenseth makes it and the other 3 Gibbs cars don't. And then 78 will probably make it. But if he was the only Toyota driver, that would be sad right there. And I mean, and then comparing it with obviously the Carl Edwards situation, it's kind of similar. I mean, it's similar. It's kind of a mix of both. It could have went either way, but it went down the Alex Bowman situation where Carl Edwards stepped away. I'm not going to say retire. He stepped away from racing. But however, if Carl Edwards would have continued, it would have went down the Eric Jones path where he eventually would have gotten kicked out. Because we all knew everyone's saying Suarez could have went to the 77, but there's no way that would have happened. Eris is not going to sponsor 2 cars, and they're not going to lose their top seed at Gibbs. Because once you get Carl Edwards and you find another sponsor for him, then that sponsor won't want to leave. And then you're stuck with a sponsorship issue whenever you get rid of the 77. So Suarez to the 19, it would have happened. And if it wasn't, he would have probably gotten kicked out. And I think the plan was Eric Jones was going to run a rookie season in 2017, and then Suarez and Jones would take over in 2018 at both of those cars. That's what I think would have happened. And then Eric Jones would have won Rookie of the Year. Suarez would have won the year after, and it wouldn't have created conflict now that we have this year. So that's that scenario. So I'm not a Toyota hater. I just hate how Joe Gibbs now is doing this. I mean, they got rid of, like I said, they've gotten rid of the drivers I really liked at that team. I liked Matt Kenseth. I like Carl Edwards, and I don't see myself rooting for Suarez that much. I do not see myself as an Eric Jones person. I mean, he's probably the next Kyle Busch. Same with like Christopher Bell. That's why I can't really get onto the. That's why I can't get onto the Kyle Busch drivers. I just feel like they're gonna be the next Kyle Busch. Like, I mean, they might. I don't know. Eric Jones has shown. I mean, like I said, Eric Jones has been about 50-50. But I feel like there's just kind of, whenever he starts winning, if he loses, he might start getting a bit of a temper, which might be worrisome. But it might not be as terrible as Kyle Busch, but it might not be that good either. But yeah, whatever. This is the subject of this video. I'm just pretty much extending my thoughts on Eric Jones to the 20. Now we're going back to Alex Bowman in the 88. So, what does this do for Hendrick Motorsports? Now this is big, and Nationwide and Exalta both extended their partnerships on the 88. Nationwide cut down 2 races they're from 21 races now to 19 races. Exalta, however, gained 2 races. Now they're at 15. And Exalta, wow, that is kind of surprising. Exalta now 15 races. That's more than Dale Earnhardt Jr. sponsorship, and that's more than Jeff Gordon's sponsorship. Like, Exalta sponsored, think of this, Exalta sponsored 10 races in 2015. In 2018, they've increased that by 5. That is pretty remarkable for like racing and sports sponsorships as like a small increase. Same with Mike Bush. Both of those companies kind of cut back their sponsorship to and then on both those respective teams, they had Nationwide and Jimmy John's become the primary sponsors, and now both of them are starting to become more balanced out. Jimmy John's and Bush on the Ford team sponsor the same amount of races, and then Mobil 1 sponsors the others. And now Nationwide and Exalta are going to basically split the season, and then Mountain Dew's going to sponsor the remaining 4 races without a doubt. So Alex Bowman's fully sponsored. However, honestly, this probably took a hit in not Alex Bowman, he already has a ride, William Byron. This probably took a hit in William Byron's chances at getting a Cup ride, because Exalta is a sponsor of that team, and I thought Exalta was going to go to the 5 team. They were going to move to the 5 team, and like Nationwide was going to be on the 88, and then they could gain a couple other sponsors. And then I thought that William Byron was eventually going to take over the 5 car, but now it looks like Exalta is not going to follow him. But I doubt they're going to abandon Alex Bowman. I seriously don't see it. So William Byron's going to have to find a sponsor, and I think it's going to be very crucial. Casey Kane's ride is unsponsored at this point. We have UniFirst for 2 races. They'll sponsor no matter what. LiftMaster, I feel like LiftMaster might be that one sponsor that leaves NASCAR at the end of the season. I mean, they could. 3 races ain't much, and they could always go the Quicken Loans and Panasonic route and just leave NASCAR completely. Drive Den Hunger is another sponsor at that team. Not for very many races. I feel like they're going to leave eventually. I mean, I don't know why. I don't even know how they return this year. I'm sure they'll sponsor one more race down the road, but I doubt they go. I doubt when William Byron comes up, I doubt they stay on. I mean, getting a 21, or he'll be 21 if he'd take over at that time. I doubt they're going to get a 21-year-old to promote senior citizen discounts and all that. But anyways, they're probably going to have to find a sponsor somewhere. They can't do this. I mean, they can't run the 5 car with like 7 races sponsored unless they pull unless they pull a Clint Boyer and get HendrickCars.com. I mean, maybe that's their plan, is they could have like a Hendrick car where it promotes, because they have. If you go by the Charlotte Motor Speedway, Hendrick owns like a ton of car dealerships. They even own Hendrick even owns like Toyota, has a Toyota dealership, which is kind of awkward. But yeah, if you go up there, you'll see like Hendrick basically, like you drive down that road heading to Charlotte Motor Speedway. Like when you're going towards Hendrick Motorsports, you'll see they have a huge car dealership, and it is massive. And that could be the sponsor. You never know. Like Hendrick has so many car businesses. Really, like in the automotive world, that could be. But I doubt it. I doubt Hendrick's going to spend that much money on that 5 team. So, yeah, they're going to have to. I mean, William Byron can bring up Liberty for 10 races. That's probably it. So he's going to have to find another sponsor. I mean, they're going to be working hard this offseason. And, yeah, I think Hendrick's in a tough spot now with Exalta moving their sponsorship they're keeping their sponsorship at the 88. Now they're in a tough situation. So, now what's this going to mean about, Casey Kane and Jimmy Johnson down the road? Like I said, I feel like William Byron's going to go to the 5 team. He will, I doubt they're going to keep, there's a couple things. If they decide to get rid of, Jimmy if Jimmy Johnson says he's going to retire in 2020, if that's the plan for him to retire in 2020, and William Byron takes his place, they could lose William Byron to another team if they keep him in the Xfinity Series. There's an issue there. If they move him to the 5 car, then eventually Jimmy Johnson might also, if they move him, if they replace Casey Kane, then Jimmy Johnson is probably going to retire down the road, and they're going to need to find a veteran driver. So it's just it's going to be crazy how this all plays out. What I don't want them to see is I don't want Hendrick Motorsports to just have all 4 rookie drivers. I don't want this to be the next Joe Gibbs Racing, and I hope they don't do this. I'm fine with 3 young talented drivers, but they can't. They can't, when Jimmy Johnson retires or Casey Kane leaves, whichever one comes last, they can't get another young driver. Unless, let's say, Chase Elliott or Alex Bowman wins a championship and wins a lot of races. Then maybe it'd be a good chance. But after that, they can't do that. I don't think it'll work that much. You have to have veteran leadership. That's the thing on these teams. You got to have the guy that knows a lot, can help you a lot on the racetrack. And it's gonna be really weird because remember, Hendrick had the oldest lineup a couple of years ago. They had Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Dale Jr. all in their 40s. Now they're starting to become the youngest lineup in NASCAR. You have Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, William Byron coming up. So it's very, very interesting to see how this is just going to play out. So my predictions, I'm going to predict that, I don't know. Casey Kane's probably going to be out in the 5 car. He will, I'd say, William Byron will take over. I think, and then my prediction for Jimmy Johnson's going to be here. He's probably going to sign another contract for a couple more years. He might go. My prediction is he'll go till 2024 or 2025. And possibly by then, Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman will be veteran drivers. They'll have a couple championships and they can help. Maybe they can get another young guy down the road to take over Jimmy Johnson's spot. So that's my prediction. I think that's how it should go. And they just got to hope Jimmy Johnson doesn't retire. Otherwise, this team could eventually flop, end up like another Roush Fenway, and they would probably even have to cut down teams. But let's not jump to that too much. This is a happy time. Alex Bowman gets the 88, And it'll be exciting to see in 2018. I just hope Greg Ives can do something. I mean, it's just been so bad with the 88 team this season. I can't wait to see Alex Bowman take over. And yeah, it should be exciting. That's the end of the video, guys. So if you like this video, give it a like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, subscribe for more videos. This is NASCAR Racing Fan 2015 signing out.